Hello, this is Trish Garner with the League of Women Voters of Portland, and you are watching the Video Voters Guide or listening to our podcast. We're here today to talk with candidates running in the November 5th, 2024 general election. We're grateful for the support of the Carol and Velma Salling Foundation, the League of Women Voters Education Fund, the Weiss Foundation, and our media partner, Metro East Community Media. With me is Luke Zach, running for District 3 Portland City Council. That covers most of Southeast Portland. Welcome, Zach. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for this office.
Thanks for having me, Trish. I'm running for this office because I have the skills, experience, and temperament to be an effective counselor and make a positive impact on the city. I was very energized by the changes coming from the charter reform with the expanded legislative council, the multi-member districts, and the ranked choice voting. And I see a real once-in-a-generation opportunity for us to elect a diverse and representative city council made up of Portlanders with transferable skills and those that might not have the establishment political experience or connections and are running for office for the first time like myself.
What are your ideas for working productively with the other council members from your district?
The ability to work collaboratively is one of the top things that I talk about with voters on the campaign trail. No matter what happens in November, we'll be electing 12 people who have unique backgrounds and ideological beliefs. And in order for this huge democratic experiment to be successful, we need to make sure that we elect candidates that can work well with others. On the campaign so far, I've been going out of my way to make sure that I connect with as many of the candidates as I can, and not just the 30 in District 3, but the 98 city council candidates across the whole city. I've even hosted a couple campaign crossover events to build relationships with other candidates and demonstrate to voters early on my capacity for coalition building.
Another question. What, if any, actions would you consider taking to address the current concerns related to the critical energy infrastructure hub on the Willamette River?
Well, first and foremost, I think that we need a plan to upgrade the storage tanks to make sure that they are seismically sound and are in compliance in the event of any earthquake activity, and also work towards transitioning any of the tanks off of the unstable landfill where the majority of them are positioned now. I think long term, we can explore relocating or decommissioning parts of the hub as we work towards transitioning to a green energy infrastructure for the city.
Are you satisfied with the performance of the Joint Office of Homeless People?
Um,
Homeless Services. And, if not, what changes would you support? Please explain your answer.
I think there's been a lot of good work done so far, and there has been some movement more recently, but I don't think that I will be satisfied with the Joint Office's performance until we've demonstrated measurable and sustainable success with reducing the number of Portlanders that are experiencing unsheltered homelessness. So there's no silver bullet solution to all of this, but I think first and foremost, we need to do what works, and that is aggressively ramping up our shelter and supportive housing capacity until our approach actually matches the scale of the crisis.
This is Trish Garner with the League of Women Voters of Portland, and you are watching the Video Voters Guide or listening to our podcast. We're here today to talk with Luke Zach, who's running for District 3 City Council. Covers most of Southeast Portland. So what skills, experience, and interests distinguish you from the other candidates for this position?
As I mentioned, I'm a first-time candidate for political office, but I've worked alongside government in a lot of different roles in my life. So the last 3 years I've spent in the tourism industry working for various destination management organizations. I've spent 5 years working in environmental regulatory compliance around EPA regulations, HUD regulations, and I also have a long history in nonprofit leadership roles. That combined with my MBA in advanced strategy and leadership from the University of Oregon really positions me to have an analytical and practical approach to leading. And so I think that being grounded in my values while being able to bring people together to find common ground and work cooperatively on outcome-oriented action is going to really set me apart.
Which, if any, of the strategies described in the draft 2024 Portland housing production strategy would you support?
So there are 35 strategies in that plan, and a lot of them are good strategies. And I think ones I would like to highlight here, including expanding homeownership programs. I think that that's really important and something that we can expand upon. Implementing and supporting catalytic investments, I think, is important as well. Right now, Portland is pretty low on the list of cities nationwide that capital investment wants to invest in, and we need to make it more attractive to be able to build housing at all levels of the affordability spectrum, and increasing housing capacity in the central city, as well as promoting commercial residential conversion. I think there's some opportunity there, and Portland's center city and downtown area is remarkably less residential than comparable cities elsewhere, and that has had a role in the bounce back following COVID. So I think that those are really important components. And then lastly, I also think that promoting the increased transit services really tied into increasing the density of the city and the livability.
On what council committees would you like to serve?
One of the areas I'm most passionate about is transportation and what we can do to improve that experience. I think we need to focus on investing in transit and multimodal infrastructure, increasing the speed, reliability, and reach of the services while decreasing barriers to use, including cost, safety concerns, and inconvenience. Other committees that I would like to be involved in include housing, climate, small business, neighborhood services, and DEI.
We don't have much time, but which Police Accountability Commission recommended features of the new accountability system currently under development would you support?
Well, I'll keep it brief then. I fully support the Police Accountability Commission recommendations. I think there's a trust problem and a lack of confidence between the communities that are being served by our law enforcement and the law enforcement itself. And I think that the only way to move forward is to make sure that those community oversight mechanisms are in place.
Thank you, Luke, Zach. This concludes our video voters guide and podcast interview of the League of Women Voters of Portland of Luke Zach, who's running for District 3 Portland City Council. That covers most of Southeast Portland. Remember, Election Day is November 5th. Be sure to inform yourself about the candidates and exercise your right to vote. Thank you for your interest.